Let us move over to Manchester United. I think this club, Manchester United, has a lot of big issues, especially when it's coming to the fans of this club. They are not so happy. The Manchester United fans are not so happy, and they ask so many questions. Why does the team have to splash 70 million for Bryan Mbeumo, whose contract is going to expire next season, but the club still went ahead to buy him for 70 million? Of course, he already made himself clear to the team that he wants to join Manchester United. That means he is devoted to join the club, and so many fans are not happy and asking the questions, why didn't they use this money to buy a striker, maybe like Victor Osimhen, Nicolas Jackson, Victor Gyökeres, or any other striker in the market, and then wait for next season for Bryan Mbeumo to come free? So this is the questions the fans are asking all over, which is kind of crazy. And so also they're asking, why do you need to pay this much money for Bryan Mbeumo? And if you take a look at the signings that has happened in the Premier League this season, let's take a look at these signings. You've got here Elanga, who left for Newcastle and was bought for 55 million. But look at the goals he scored, 6 goals. But he was bought for 65 million euro, which is kind of like average, 6 goals and then 55 million sales. And then we take a look as well for Mohamed Kudus. He also had 6 goals and of course was being sold for 60 million euros. A player with 6 goals sold for 60 million euro. I know Mohamed Kudus, playing for West Ham last season, suffered some injuries, but at the end of the day, he could produce just 6 goals and he left for Spurs for 60 million euro. And we've got here Nonu Madueke as well, 52 million from Chelsea to Arsenal, and he had just 7 goals for the Blues and has signed for 52 million pounds. Now let's compare all these players. You're going to look at as well João Pedro, who left for Chelsea for 60 million deal and scored 10 goals. He's been sold for 60 million, and of course in Chelsea so far in just last 3 games he has 3 goals. He's trying to show that he's going to be an incredible signing for the Blues. And we're going to take at all these players with these deals from 55 million, 60 million, and the goals they scored just less than 10 or maximum. We're going to compare with the signing of Cunha, which happened for 62 million. But Cunha, however, scored 15 goals for the Wolves. And this signing is coming like he moves to Manchester United with the sales of 62 million pounds. But then let's look at where the complaint is coming from, where the fans say Bryan Mbeumo is very expensive. But let's look at what he has. So just Bryan Mbeumo, 70 million, but he has 20 goals. And I think 70 million for 20 goals is a very, very high performance compared to Elanga or Noni Madueke, who has 7 and 6 goals each, but are being sold for 60 million and 52 million respectively. So I believe this signing was a very perfect one. 20 goals in the Premier League season, fit after Mohamed Salah, Isaac, Haaland and the rest. It's very, very it's a very, very big achievement for the player. I mean, if you look at his finishing positions, where he scores from, the angles, it's kind of like almost impossible angles, but he makes things happen. And also, of course, he's having some penalty takes on, where he had a total of 20 goals and 8 assists in the season. Signing well deserved for me, yes. But now, will Bryan Mbeumo survive in Manchester United, or he is going to flop like other players, other superstars who have come to Manchester United in a world-class uniform and then end up going down to 0? That is a question a lot of people are asking. Is Bryan Mbeumo going to flop in the Manchester United? For me, looking at the squad this season, what they've got, what they've signed, and their determination, I believe it's likely that he might as well flop like others. What do I mean by others? We're going to take a look at some players that were world class before coming to Manchester United and became nothing. And even when they stepped out of the club, still they had to perform back at the maximum. And so the question goes, is Bryan Mbeumo going to be a flop in Manchester United? or no. Let's take a look at the first player, which is going to be Andre Onana. This goalkeeper was a very excellent goalkeeper in Inter Milan before coming to Manchester United, and he was as well a very excellent goalkeeper in Ajax before going to Inter Milan, and world-class goalkeeper, excellent, a lot of awards and trophies as well for Inter Milan. And now when he came to Manchester United, he became almost sometimes one of the worst goalkeeper in the league because of the defensive errors, the lack of playing tactics made them underperform, and so he flopped actually. No one can deny that in Manchester United. We take a look at the next player, of course, Antony. Antony was a very good player in Ajax before coming to Manchester United. He had 57 appearances in Ajax and 18 goals. 57 appearances and 18 goals. And after joining Manchester United, had to play 62 games, that is 62 appearances, but had just 5 goals. 62 appearances with 5 goals for Man United. That is a complete flop and horrible. And then he decided to leave Manchester United to Real Betis, where he had to make some changes, playing 17 goals and scoring 5 goals in Real Betis. However, he's one of the players that flopped in Manchester United, and he has officially told the club this season that he wants to leave. He doesn't want to be part of the club anymore this season, so he's actually maybe needs to be sold or to be sent for loan in another club. We're going to take a look at the next player, which is Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, very good player as well. 104 appearances in Borussia Dortmund with 38 goals, and he was very good at the moment. At the time when Manchester United went for him, he was a very excellent player that everyone could be asking in the market. But then when he came to Manchester United, Jadon Sancho had 58 goals, 58 appearances, and had just 9 goals scored for Manchester United. And one thing that bothers the fans about this player is that they don't even like the playing system. It's like they are not happy playing for the club, not even the fact that the play system doesn't work, but I think there is some issues that bothers them when they step into this club, and so he wasn't happy, and then he left for Chelsea and performed well in Chelsea, and now he's back to United, but also he told the club that he needs to find somewhere else to play and not in the Manchester United anymore. Let's look at Elanga, also appeared in the Manchester United in a few games, but later on when he went to Forest, he had 11 goals, 21 assists, and of course in 82 appearances, 11 goals and 21 assists in 82 appearances in Nottingham Forest. Of course, it's a very great one for him, and in more than what he did in Manchester United. And so if you take a look at all these players who have come, plus Garnacho, who is not happy, Marcus Rashford, who is not happy leaving the club, all of them, and if you think that there is some issues in this club, and somebody said this thing, which is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. This is one of the legends of football, not only in football, of course, of Manchester United. He had to come back to the club to maybe build again, but when he came back, Ronaldo found out that there is some problems in the club, which is making things not moving out very well, and so it cannot really be profitable for the club right now. And of course, he had to air it out, and some people say he was very unprofessional for calling out such mistakes. And today we find these mistakes he mentioned very, very okay. I mean, everything is being proven. Even after him, we found that he came to the club but then left with issues, unlike Antony, unlike Marcus Rashford, unlike Jadon Sancho, unlike Garnacho, and all the rest who are not happy in this club. I mean, you can see it clearly that there is some big issues that needs to be fixed in there. Can be financial issues or whatever, but then this is all what is happening to this club, and the whole club this season has been something crazy. So now, will Bryan Mbeumo succeed in this kind of condition? Because many have come and failed. Will he succeed? That is the question of the day. But look at Bryan Mbeumo. He actually really determined to play for the club and is willing to offer everything, and he actually joined. But then, is he going to succeed in Manchester United? The season is not far. August, you're going to watch and see the start to the end. And so this is how Manchester United has crumbled, and it's not the club we used to know before in the days where we talk about Manchester United. No one could ever expect that this club is going to end up in the 16th position of the Premier League. And right now there is a lot of signings and transfer windows happening. We just like you to stay tuned and then wait for the next transfer market we are going to bring to you in a few hours later.